I'm calling him Mr. Nibbles. So you guys know I'm gonna have to get him and pair him with Death Knight.
Oh man, this is gonna be great. How do I look? Good call on the pizza, Mr. Nibbles.
New Fusion starts very, very soon, and we have update highlights 4.70. New champions, SIGMUND the High Shield is the new Fusion champion that is starting very, very soon. Now keep in mind, his Fusion is going to be very similar to Brogni in that he's gonna be a fragment and a traditional Fusion. So what that means is the epics I'm gonna show you, you need to collect them with fragments. Then you need to fuse the epics, and it doesn't stop there. After you fuse the epics, you're gonna have to level ascend them, get them to 50, do the normal, like a traditional fusion, and then sacrifice them to fuse SIGMUND, okay? So again, you can liken this to the Brogni fusion is what we have. So SIGMUND's the High Shield, legendary magic defense champ for the Bannerlords. His A1 is a fair fight, attacks an enemy, removes shield buffs, also has a 50% chance of removing a random buff, and has a 75% chance instead when attacking bosses. Another magic champ, I know this is a tile lord. A2 is called Battlefield Beacon. AoE, each hit has a chance of placing a provoke and a 75% chance of placing decrease attack. A3 is called Shield of the Realm, places a shield buff on all allies equal to 30% of the champ's max HP and a strengthen buff on all allies. His passive is called Equitable. Whenever this champion's attacked, has a 20% chance of decreasing the duration of all buffs on the attacker, and has a 40% chance instead when attacked by a boss. And his auras increases ally defense and Doom Tower by 40%. If you're going for the epics only, guys, I think I might too. I want Mr. Nibbles and I want the demon spawn. I don't have Duchess. Just you guys wait till we talk about the demon spawn. The demon spawn's a reviver and also has reflect damage. I think I'm gonna need him, and he's a weird, big demonic looking slug thing. All right, let's talk the epics that you're going to need to get fragments for SIGMUND. So the first one is DUHR the Hungerer, and I have to say, I'm really happy with this guy, and this is why. Epic Spirit Support Demon Spawn. His A1 is called Odious Bulk, attacks an enemy, and has a chance of placing a stun. His A2 is called Cannibal Litany, places reflect damage buff on all allies and a continuous heal. Now his A3, this is what makes me excited. His A3 is called Hungry for More, revives 2 allies with 50% HP and fills their turn meter by 50%. Now this makes me happy, and those of you that are like me and do not have a Duchess, now we have an epic reviver in the Demon Spawn faction. This makes me very happy, okay? So I know for myself, I'm probably going to need this guy because I struggle in Demon Spawn and I don't have Duchess. And his auras increases ally defense and faction crypts by 30%. So I'm gonna need him. The question is there a chance to get 2 of each epics? Probably not. And Auntie, that's a good question. This fusion is going to be a hybrid. It's going to be a fragment traditional fusion, much like Brogni. And if they continue on truly like they did with Brogni, that means you cannot miss an event, you can't miss a tournament, you get 1 chance at getting the fragments for each epic, then you have to sacrifice them. And so there's no extras, unless you pull them from shards. There wasn't a way to get, same thing, Brogni was the same way. This is like, guys, this is like a Brogni fusion. And here's the thing, we've been asking them questions that they're not responding to, and usually their silence means we're right. So the first question we asked was, if they were gonna make it like Brogni, where you only get an exact amount of fragments, there was no response. Then we said, is it gonna be like Brogni, where you're not gonna give us a chance to get another epic? No response. Usually, if they were gonna give us extra fragments, they'd be like, no, there's plenty of fragments. Or they would be like, oh no, you'll be able to get another epic. It's just silence usually tells us everything. Exactly, Drifter. That's what I'm saying. If you guys don't have Duchess, here's your Demon Spawn Reviver. So I know for myself, I think he's a must-have. So here's the first epic. And guys, like I said, my honest opinion on him is I'm going for him. I like him. And I have to say, this is probably the first fusion that I'm really considering keeping epics and not fusing the Lego. This is kind of the first time. If we're talking about SIGMUND, is my Bannerlord faction wars completed, you know? And I'm already seeing that some of these epics might be way more useful for me. So here's the first guy. I gotta say, really making me reconsider pulling or trying to go for the Lego is I'm gonna end up getting all the epics, and I'm probably gonna wait as long as I can to see what happens. Next one is THYLESSIA, Epic Force Attack Night Revenant Champ. Her A1 is called Weft of Madness. She attacks an enemy and has a 50% chance of doing a debuff spread. So now we have another debuff spread champ. And also takes a random debuff from the target and places on all enemies under a hex. Now we have another champ again with this hex ability. So who do we have that has hexes? Is we have Ruel the Huntsman, we have Cleo, we have Thea, and now we're gonna have her as well too, THYLESSIA. A2 is called Shrieking Voices. It's an AoE that increases the duration of all debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. A3 is Melancholia, attacks all enemies and decrease defense. Or A3 is an AoE, decrease defense. And her passive is called Feast of Woe. When attacking enemies under decreased defense, she has a 50% chance of placing a hex on them. Another Force Night Revenant, and this is not magic. You sniff a hex Doom Tower boss in the future? Quite possibly. I mean, we already have the Minotaur. Minotaur does a hex, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they did a clan boss or Doom Tower boss or something with hex. Next is our rat. I have to say I am happy that we have another Skinwalker coming out. Scabrius, Epic Magic Attack Skinwalker. His A1 is called Gutter Knife, which has a 50% chance of placing poison. A2 is called Gnawing Horde. It's an AoE leech. A3 is called Vicious Spite, which places a weaken. Also places a 50% increased attack on this champ if the weaken debuff is placed. And his passive is called Verminous. Damage increases by 20% when attacking enemies under poison. So I like this guy. I like this guy. Oh, I know his character model's weird. I showed you guys what he looked like months ago because they teased it in one of their videos. His model's really weird. He's got rats coming out of his shoulder. He looks mutated. He looks mutated. We demand a rename. This is Mr. Nibbles. Yeah, I'm calling him Mr. Nibbles. So you guys know I'm gonna have to get him and pair him with Death Knight.
Oh man, this is gonna be great. How do I look? Good call on the pizza, Mr. Nibbles.
I do like he has a poison, a leech, and a weaken, and I like his passive. Damage increases by 20% when attacking with enemies under poison. This makes me happy. And last epic, DEMYTHA, Epic Void Support Dwarf. So here's another Void Dwarf. Fires of Old, attacks an enemy, places a shield equal to 10% of this champion's max HP in the ally with the lowest HP. A2 is called Light of the Deep. Increases the duration of all ally buffs for a turn and decreases the duration of all ally debuffs by 1 turn. Also heals all allies by % of their max HP and heals by a further amount for each turn added to or removed from the duration of buffs and debuffs. A3 is places a block damage buff on all allies and a continuous heal. And her auras increases ally defense in all battles. So you gotta like the block damage. It looks like this is giving us another champ we could try to add into an unkillable comp, right? Curious to see how she would work. Instead of doing Tower Warcaster, could we do a DEMYTHA Warcaster? Right? Yep, she's an unkillable champ. Exactly. That's what I was talking about here. This gives us another champ that's unkillable. So I would love to know what you guys think. I honestly, like I was saying before, this is probably the first time I'm really considering getting epics over the legendary. This is probably the first time. So we're gonna have to see what happens. I know myself, I'm gonna be collecting the fragments. You know, maybe I'll get lucky and pull some of these champs. That would be really, really good. Usually what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna get everything ready until the last moment and then I'll probably decide. But I already love the idea of DEMYTHA in unkillable comps for clan boss. I like the idea of her block damage for some of the other bosses like Baumel. I think there's so much utility. I love the demon spawn for the revives. I already love the rat. You know, we got the poison, we have the AoE leech, we have the weaken. Really, really good kit there. And then of course the Night Revenant. She seems really neat too with the hex. Debuff spread, so it already looks like she fits in nicely, and she has an AoE decreased defense. So I would love to know what you guys think. Leave me some comments. Let me know. You know, do you think you're gonna go for epics only? Which ones? Are you still going to go for Are you gonna go for SIGMUND the High Shield? Are you gonna go for him? Let me know what you guys think. I would love to know what your plans are so far. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, check out some more videos up here in the playlist on the top right.